itainuka Kenya, itasimama Kenya, itanawiri kwa umoja na uzalendo. Mimi ni Mkenya mzalendo. Je, wewe? Mimi ni Mkenya mzalendo daima. Welcome to the 13th editions of Sema Spox. Sema Spox. And today we are very privileged to have our Principal Secretary for State Department for Trade, who will be telling us the latest developments in matters trade as we move on to the other side. But before we come to that, it is extremely amazing that thousands of our youth have been able to receive money through the Nyota program. And we had a very colorful ceremony yesterday at Kasarani Stadium, where a total of 10,337,000 youth have actually been able to receive this amount of money. 10,337 youth, beg your pardon, they were able to get 258.4 million Kenya shillings. Yani pesa ilikuwa inaingia tu hapo tapengele, unaona mtu amesmile hapo hivyo. And this money is already disbursed and will continue to be done so. 110,000 youth by our president, and over 820,000 are going to benefit. It is also true to say that 1.1 million learners have actually moved to senior secondary schools, the first under the CBED, competence-based education and training cohort. And because of these numbers, we want to achieve as a government 97% transition rate. And so that's why the Ministry of Education has been able to extend the time. Also, after hosting successfully, Chan 24, I saw somebody from Ivory Coast there, Cote d'Ivoire, trying to say that in East Africa we are not able to host. We are going to host Chan. Is it Chan? No, AFCON 2027. How can somebody start saying that we don't have stadium, that we just have bushes? Mwambie akuje aone that we even have the Talanta Stadium that is bigger than even the one in Singapore. We are moving to Singapore, to the first one. Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania have actually shown the confidence to host AFCON 2027. And you could even see Hussein Mohammed receiving the flag, and we have the Atlanta Stadium, we have CAF and presidential support. So we are ready. We are ready as an East African country and region, and we are going to move forward. It's also true to say that our records, for NSE trading have actually gone to 2.7 trillion in 2025. And this is amazing because it's up from 1.13 trillion in 2023. And PS will be telling us about this, because that means our economy is doing extremely well because there's market liquidity, investor returns, and even growth of the private sector. So this is very, very, very commendable. Many things are happening in Kenya. This is just one but we can see for sure the Nyota is fueling the economy from the bottom up, promised as we launch towards the first world dream, the Singapore dream. But we can't do that kama hatuna pesa mfukoni. Lazima kufanywa biashara. So today we are now going to hear from our PS of the State Department for Trade, akiwa hapa Sema na Bonga na Sema na makofi. Madam PS, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And how are you, Spox?
Very fine. You're looking very elegant in blue. You look very well, fitted, as if you knew where you were coming. But now, Madam PS, you can see the audience here. They are smiling. Some of them look very studious. Smile kidogo bana. Wacha kuwa. Smile kidogo. Yes. Maybe in a nutshell, you can tell us, who is Madam Regina Ombam?
Thank you very much, Spox. Madam Regina Ombam is a Kenyan national who comes from the western part of Kenya, more precisely Luo Nyanza. And she is actually somebody who was born and bred in Nairobi. So people from Kanairo, this is just one of your people. I grew up in Shaurimoyo. I'm a daughter of a music teacher,
Wow.
and who was then the head teacher where I went to school in my primary.
Wonderful. Which name is the primary school?
Our Lady of Mercy, Shaurimoyo.
So you are actually a Nairobi girl.
I was actually born in Pumwani Maternity Hospital.
Wow, makofi hapo. We wacha kiwaru, kwani wewe kwa sababu umezaliwa huko Nyamulanga na unafikiri watu ndio, acha hiyo maneno.
Yeah, so I am one person, of course, having grown up in Shaurimoyo and a very strong Catholic background, a lot of humility in myself.
Yes, please.
And growing up in understanding that as a young child, I'd always aspired to be the president of this republic.
Are you serious?
Yes,
Like you
because
had an ambition of becoming president?
I had an ambition because I used to get very excited just
Wow.
seeing people line up for Jomo Kenyatta, the founding father,
Yes.
on the streets
Yes.
when he would pass by. And that,
Makofi hapo. But I think you can see from that basic ambition of becoming president at a younger stage and where you are today, you are the PS for State Department for Trade.
precisely, Spokes, because I understood for you to be a president, you have to be smart.
Wow.
You really have to play the part of a leader.
So how did you perform in school for curricular activities? Were you debating? Were you
So I
sports,
did, I was
music?
Sports not very good, but I played hockey.
Wow.
I am very good in music to date.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, having been a daughter of a music teacher.
So would you like sing or play?
I'll do a lot of vocals and play the piano.
Wonderful. You sound like you could make a very good soprano.
Soprano too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I did I was a member of the drama club and debating club, but in primary throughout I was very good in we used to call it public speaking.
Yes.
So the recitals, reciting poems, those were part of my specialties because my father would always wanted us to be very good public speakers. Academically, I started off by doing sciences in high school, going to they now call it Moi Nairobi Girls, but I was in Nairobi Girls from Form 1 to 4. Then I went to Ngara Girls for my A levels, Form 5 and 6. Then I joined the University of Nairobi and now worked in Nairobi. So I am
So at the University of Nairobi, what did you study?
I studied, my first degree was in anthropology and economics.
Oh, wow. What a combination.
Then I did my master's in economics.
From the same university?
From the same university. Then I also did another master's now from Columbia University when
in New York.
In New York City.
Oh, wow. This master's in Columbia was about what?
It was about public policy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So I did my master's there, and then of course did a stint working in the public sector, first teaching at the University of Nairobi, working for
umefundisha mpaka ile shule ambayo ulisomea wewe mwenyewe.
Yeah, nimefundisha.
So you also became a teacher like your parents?
I also became a teacher like my parents.
Wow.
And just the other day, I was so excited as I went for a meeting in Comesa in Lusaka, Zambia.
Yes.
And one of the people came to say hello to me and reminded me that I taught her economics at the university.
Makofi. And now working for Comesa.
Now she's working for Comesa.
Okay, then after that, what happened?
For me, after teaching at the university, I then joined public service. I was posted to the Treasury as an economist. I had a short stint at the Treasury, then moved to the Ministry of Roads and Public Works, did a lot of work in the road sector, did a lot of feasibility studies. So all these big roads that you see, the Nairobi-Mombasa Road, Mwatate Taveta Road, the road that goes all the way to Isiolo Moyale, the one that goes to Nadapal, that connects to South Sudan. The feasibility study was done by myself, and
wow.
raised a lot of
So what are you looking at that point? Is it economic viability or just the whole spectrum of it as a consultant?
So for me, I was actually working for government then.
Oh,
So
okay.
I was doing all the economic evaluation, and my focus was how can we open up the borders to allow for movement.
Okay.
Little did I know that at one time I will be the PS trade and I'll be pushing the agenda for cross-border trade.
Makofi, hebu angalia. Can you see, my good people, how God prepares you for later roles without even one knowing?
Precisely.
You said you are a staunch Catholic.
Yes,
Mhm.
I strongly subscribe to the Catholic faith.
Okay, let's say, and of course we can assume you're a family, woman, and you have kids and all of that.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I am. I have 4 sons and 3 daughters.
Oh, wonderful.
And of course, I'm a married man. My husband is still alive.
Yes.
My last born is at the university now.
Wow.
The other ones are big, and I also have a granddaughter.
Wonderful. Kwa hivyo nyinyi majenzi mkuwe na heshima kidogo hapa mkuwe na msilete heshima ndogo ndogo
Kwa
hapa.
hivyo mimi ni mama watoto wa 7.
Mama watoto 7 na pia wewe ni sasa ni grandmother.
Grandmother.
Oh, wonderful. Makofi kabisa hapa. Now, yes, let's now turn our heads to the State Department for Trade, because that's a very illustrious CV, 2 master's degrees, an economist, to be able to do, feasibility studies for roads and supplement. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. Now, this is a wealth of experience that has you now seated at the helm of trade in Kenya. What tell us about the State Department? What has it been able to do so far? What does it do on a daily basis, and what are the key achievements so far?
So in my position, Spox, I'm basically the accounting officer. So I look at both the management of the institution as well as actually overseeing the policies, particularly the trade policies that are put in place. More precisely, my role is actually to provide that stewardship in terms of strategic management and ensuring that the implementation of trade policies are actually impactful. So when you look at what I really do is actually looking at what we have in the trade ecosystem, the trade negotiations that we participate in, ensuring that the markets are there in terms of market access for products that we are sending out there, creating an enabling environment for traders to trade seamlessly, looking at all aspects of regional integration and seeing what needs to happen in that space.
So issues of tariff and non-tariff barriers.
Yes.
AFCOFTA, Africa Free Trade Area.
Yes.
The interplay between COMESA and EAC and SADC.
Yes.
And IGAD and all of those.
Including also the international market beyond Africa, looking at what is happening. And as you agree, we are now in really extraordinary times, which require a lot of extraordinary thinking. Yeah. So my role actually is one that actually tries to get Kenya to be competitive.
Wow.
Yeah.
Makofi kabisa. So what are some of the key achievements so far the State Department has been able to do since this 5th administration came into force and under your leadership? I know you've not been there for long, but I'm sure there's some, because you are a trailblazer.
We've done a lot in the Trade Department. We have negotiated quite a number of agreements that have actually seen us open up the market for Kenyan goods. We have negotiated with the United Arab Emirates. We've done trade negotiations with the European Union. We've done trade negotiations with the United Kingdom. We are just doing a negotiation which we are calling an early harvest arrangement with China, and we are also.
Maybe you can explain to Kenyans what does an early harvest mean, because when somebody hears from Adonzweni that there's an early harvest, they may think about how you harvest mbaazi in advance. What does it mean?
So precisely what it means is actually trying to look at what are those critical things that we could actually trade with China, the low-hanging fruits that we have, given our comparative advantage, that we can actually use to get us to leapfrog the agreement and the trade ecosystem with China much faster and penetrate the market
Wow.
in a quick time.
Wonderful. Makofi hapo. And I want to imagine this is as a result of our president's engagement with Xi Jinping, the leader of China, when he did a very good state visit sometimes last year.
There is one, and also just looking at our president's vision, looking at his better plan. Really, our president's focus has been, how do I transform this economy to get it to the first world level? And one way of transforming that economy is actually pushing the export agenda. And so the president has actually intentionally reached out to the different markets so that we can be able to diversify and don't depend on just one market. So in addition to doing all those international or regional or group kind of negotiations, we are also doing bilateral negotiations. We are reaching out to specific countries and discussing with them and even getting us to understand some nascent markets that have never been thought of as markets, and realizing that we can actually penetrate those markets.
Actually, I saw recently from our, monitoring, because my office monitors what government is doing on a daily basis. We actually have what we call GOK Daily News Brief every day. And we were very impressed by the fact that our exports of coffee to Singapore and Hungary actually gone to, I think, 14.7 billion. I mean, we were very surprised. These are not markets that we are actually aware of.
Yes, folks, you're so right. These are markets we are really looking at and realizing that the traditional markets cannot continue to sustain us. And our president really looks at trade that is sustainable. So he's saying, spread your risks wide, reach out. Even we are now getting to some islands that people never thought we could get to. There's an island in the ocean called Mayotte that belongs to the French.
Yes.
And we are now already realizing that we could get tomatoes from Kenya very easily to Mayotte.
Wow.
And
makofi kabisa hapo. Wewe kama unanunua, wewe kijana umepata hii nyota, naona umeingia hapo, tengeneza hizo tomatoes, nyanya, alafu zitaenda wapi? Wewe wacha kusema ni shida zote. Mayote hapo.
Yeah, so these are some of the markets that we are looking and realizing that we need to really make sure we open up. And then the western part of Africa. Africa, we've not been doing well in terms of our intra-Africa trade. And we are realizing that the way the trade, the geopolitics is happening globally, we also need to come and look at our continent. And Kenya being a very strategic position, a hub for African business, it's about time we now started looking how far more can we get into the western part of Africa and the northern part of Africa, now that we've already captured the east, central, and south quite well.
So maybe one would actually ask a very important question, Madam PS. There are these situations where we see lack of proper and effective coordination between the various regional economic blocs, the ESC, ECOWAS, now that it's Western Africa. Some of them, of course, it is alleged that they are becoming weaker, like some of them that may have been alleged before, without being specific, because you run the risk of maybe not putting the facts as it were. And sometimes you find that Africans, we like to trade with other foreign nations other than ourselves, and putting very serious tariff barriers, non-tariff barriers, even when we have actually agreed on protocols. How far are we with regards to that, and what is the role of AfCOFTA, Africa Free Continental Trade Area, in ensuring that we overcome these hurdles?
I think, Spox, we sometimes shoot ourselves on the foot too hard. And for the longest, the Africans have been trading among themselves, even historical times, without any restrictions. They would move from one place to another through trade, learn and get to even know more things, because they were able to. As you trade, you also socialize and you grow in the process. But we seem to forget that colonialism did happen.
Yeah.
And when our colonial rulers came in, they purposely grew whatever they were growing for purposes of their market.
Yeah.
And so whatever was being grown in our highlands, our tea, our coffee, was for the European market.
So basically, we are like a vassal we were kind of vassal state where it's for extraction purposes.
For extraction purposes. And when we took on the leadership, we continued with that. So this is the time, as Africa is rising, we are also realizing that we need to do some value addition in what we have, because we are now more exposed.
Yeah.
Our leaders are really looking outwards towards growing Africa. You've seen the way His Excellency really pushes the Pan-Africanism agenda big time. And so with that now, we are realizing that we need to come and trade within ourselves. And then looking at the geopolitics that is happening internationally, we are now seeing Asia is trading with Asia, because the big brothers have just decided to behave in a style that nobody really understands.
Yeah.
So it's about time, even us as Africa, we really pushed the AFCFTA agenda so that we open up markets within ourselves. And this is anecdotal evidence, Isaac. Just the other day, I was looking at a report that was showing that the biggest the tourists who come to Kenya, the big number is not even from Europe.
Really?
The big number is from Uganda here.
Wow, makofi kabisa.
And Nigeria.
Really?
And when these people come...
Yes, and we are assuming that it's from the UK or the US.
When these people come,
yes, please.
The main thing that they do, they come to Kenya and they love to party. They love to shop.
Yeah.
And when they get to Nairobi, they feel they're already in London.
Oh, wow.
Now, they are not people who are traveling in groups that everything has been organized from their country.
They're not backpackers.
Yeah, they're not backpackers. Yes. And, so all that money stays with us in the economy.
Wow.
And the big areas that they visit is BBS Mall, Sarit Center, and they talk about it.
Yeah.
So if we're actually able to ensure that our country is peaceful and we ensure that our country is secure, then I'm sure we will even be getting more foreign earnings from our fellow African countries, because everybody will be wanting to come to Kenya.
Makofi. So that's a clear testament of the fact that we actually had the wrong perception of who is actually bringing money to this economy.
We had a very wrong perception who's actually bringing money. In fact, Ugandans really love coming here and they really bring us a lot of money. And when they go to those restaurants, they go to those disco places that they go to, they leave a lot of resources for us.
Yeah. Wonderful. Makofi kabisa hapo. Now, for a Kenyan who is watching this program, who wants to get into trade but does not know where to begin with, how does the State Department for Trade serve as a gateway to those opportunities in Kenya and beyond?
Oh, thank you so much. I should have actually spoken to you so that you give me a bit of leakage. Some of your questions seem to be pretty tough. But
no, you're up to the task.
I am in a docket that is everything in this country. And I really appreciate that I have a team that is very supportive. When you look at what we do, we are the facilitators.
Okay.
We are the operators. We are the fair play advocates.
Okay, so fair trade.
We are the negotiators.
Okay.
So everything that happens in our world is all pegged on trade. And so this is a very important docket in itself. So a Kenyan who would want to get involved in trade, by coming to the State Department of Trade, the first key thing that we're able to do for you is give you all the information that you need around trade.
Yeah.
And we have that information big time. We are the ones who will be able to tell you, if you want to get into this area, what do you need? What standards are required? What are the barriers that you expect there? How is the market behaving? Because we even have people who do market intelligence. We have people who do the marketing, who do the branding. So we have all that information that can help you come and be able to get into the trade market when you want.
Makofi hapo. So we are trying to make the AFCTA more palatable. And that's why we are not calling it AFCTA the way it is, because it's a bit hard to pronounce. We say AFCOFTA. AFCOFTA, because people can easily pronounce the name AFCOFTA. So now which African markets, madam, are fastest growing, and cost effective, entry points, for Kenyan business people under the AFCOFTA? And what products or services are, highest in demand there? Is it avocado? Is it what is it that we're exporting to the rest of Africa?
So to the rest of Africa, we are basically exporting so much, both from because there's something Africa looks up to Kenya for. They believe as long as a product is coming from Kenya, it's of quality. There's that belief. So
Really?
yes.
Wow. Amazing.
And that's why they even come all the way to,
Okay.
to shop in Nairobi.
Mhm.
You go to Sarit Center, you will not see Kenyans. You'll see more West Africans
Wow.
trying to shop over there because they believe that there's quality is found here because our standards really are really of high quality. So people trust our products very
Maybe
much.
one would ask Madam PS, do we have now a burgeoning middle class in Africa that has got tastes and preferences as to occasion, disposable income that that would fuel our economy?
Yes, yes, we do. We have all these young people who are really adventurers, tech savvy. The people we are calling Gen Zs. These are people who love to travel, who love to save for purposes of just doing things like that. Unlike us, who could not even think about saving for purposes of travel, when we were growing up, the little savings we could do were not even anything to talk about. But this young people are really coming out with that whole thing of understanding that I need to save for purposes of visiting, entertaining myself, and taking good care of myself. So we are getting a group of Africans who are understanding that disposable income is supposed to be used for A, B, C, D, E.
Yeah.
Yeah. Compared to us who were maybe
Sisi tulizoea tukienda kama ni holi tunaenda nyumbani.
But I wanted to tell you about the products that come from Kenya and when I talked of quality. So we have all these agro-processed goods that are really being sought after in the African continent. The cooking oil, all these manufactured goods, things like even soap, things like plastics.
Okay.
All these things are really fetching very high prices in Africa. And then our vegetables, our fruits, our meat products, these are things that are now becoming of high demand in the African continent because Africa believes that whatever is in Kenya is of good quality. And when they get it, they believe they've gotten something that is good.
Wonderful. We are going to take a short break. But before we take that short break in the next 1 minute or so, so what is the entry point for MSMEs, the women, the youth, the persons with disabilities, the startups in terms of plugging into the regional markets so that then they are also able to participate in global trade? And what are the support mechanisms to ensure that they actually are able to do so in terms of access to capital, business development services, and all of that?
So the big thing that we're actually looking at is the fact that most of these young women, the MSMEs, they don't have enough information about what is happening in those regional markets. So as a State Department, we're actually working with them to give them the right information so that they get to know what that market is out there, what is it asking for, what quality of products is it looking for. We are also working with them to through those regional integration mechanisms to simplify trade so that their goods can move seamlessly across borders. So standardizing the standards that they are to have. And then we are also working with all these financial institutions to also get them to have a pay mechanism that does not have them to go through a third party. So if you're selling your stuff in Mali, you don't have to look for the dollar. You can actually sell your stuff in Mali and get your money in Kenya shillings.
Makofi hapo. So yes, hold your thoughts there. We'll come back to that question. Now we are going to take a short break. Na hii ni Sema na Spox. Sema na Spox. And then we'll also get questions from the audience and also from the live audiences out there. Makofi kabisa hapo.
Wakenya wenzangu, mwaka 2026 umeingia na gumzo mtaani ni safari ya kuelekea Singapore. Je, uko tayari?
Bicho hoye! Baringo hoye! Nakuru hoye! Mukisikia nikisema tutakuwa kama Singapore, tutakuwa kama Malaysia, sio kwa mchezo, sio kwa mzaha, sio kwa kubahatisha, ni kwa sababu tuko na mpango ya kufanya vile walifanya na tutafanya hata zaidi ya vile walifanya wale. Yenye mnanielewa marafiki zangu? Tunaelewana ndugu zangu wa Kenya?
Najua wengi wanajiuliza, hii safari ya kuelekea Singapore kwa taifa la Kenya inaamanisha nini?
Hii Kenya tutaibadilisha kwa mambo matatu ya muhimu. Infrastructure, kujenga mabarabara, kujenga airport, kujenga seaport. Jambo la pili, tutazalisha umeme ya kutosha ili tuweze kuendesha viwanda na kubadilisha uchumi wetu. Jambo la tatu, transformation ya kilimo, tuhakikisha kwamba irrigation inakuwa katikati ya kuzalisha chakula na exports ya nchi.
Hivi sasa ni wakati wa kutekeleza na kufanikisha ndoto na malengo yetu kupitia beta agenda ambayo itatupeleka moja kwa moja katika ufanisi wa maendeleo, kiuchumi, uongozi bora na huduma kwa kila mtu. Mimi niko tayari. Je, wewe?
Sema na Spox. Bonga na Gava. Basi hapo tumerudi hapa. So Madam PS, by the time we went for the break, you are telling us about how the MSMEs can plug into regional market. Do you have trade fairs? Can they come and participate? Do you facilitate them to showcase what they have? Because sometimes we go to these trade fairs and people are just showcasing the mundane, you know. They are not really novel things. Like at times we even go, we see what, people are showcasing and you're wondering, really, is this all that we have for Kenya? And also, as you answer to that, issues of standard, quality, finesse, yeah.
Thanks so much, Spokes. I think that is one area we've really not done well. And I must admit that there's a lot that we need to do in that space. We just did an East Africa MSME trade fair at Uhuru Gardens as a way of actually bringing all the SMEs from the East Africa region to bring their products and everything for purposes of exhibition. But we didn't communicate so to the public. So in terms of people really coming and knowing what was there, I think the response rate wasn't very good. And I think that is an area we really need now to focus on as we really think around getting people to understand what these people have and what they're capable of doing. We must remember that even the cottage industries that now have become the big industries that we are talking about started off SME level. So this is actually where innovation and growth in the manufacturing sector starts from. So we need to purposely start doing those trade fairs that target MSMEs. And I was just thinking and saying the agricultural trade fair that we do at Jamhuri Park and in all these other counties, that whole ground just remains idle after the agricultural show. Are these some of the things we now need to start thinking and ensuring that we do fairs that take advantage of that ecosystem that we have in place? We seem to be focusing so much on what happens in Japan Expo, China Expo. But I think in terms of Expo locally and pushing the local agenda from using the resources that we have, I think that's an area we really need to work on. And thank you for flagging that out.
How do you see the coming out, the preparation of the BICC, the Bombas International Convention Center, vis-a-vis trade and the whole of issue of Talanta and that whole ecosystem around there? How do you see it, working out? We are working very hard as a government to ensure that we have commuter rail and all those modes of transport. How do you see that if you compare, for example, the Dubai Expo, that it really is advertised a lot, and they take, even a whole year or even more to prepare, countries come and get their slots. How do we have the capacity to be the expo capital of Africa?
We do. We do. I know many people those who watched AFCON, you saw what Morocco did in terms of just using that AFCON event to actually spread its wings further in terms of ensuring everything works out right in terms of the infrastructure and the ecosystem. And that really propelled Morocco in terms of trade. We have the capability and we have the impetus of actually being able to get to that level. So when we are by doing the Bombas Convention Center, by working on our infrastructure, working on I don't know, I still feel I just need to call it Raila Amolo Odinga International Stadium.
That's remember our legend, huh?
Yeah, because I'm really lobbying for it to be called Raila Amolo Odinga International Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
When we have that, and that's where I really appreciate the vision of our president. He's actually looking at the whole ecosystem from transportation to entertainment to conferencing, and bringing it to a level where he's able to attract all this international and people and institutions to come into the country. And when this happens, trade in services really is another element of trade that really boosts the economy in a big way.
And so now there is now digital transformation. I mean, we now can see e-commerce happening. Many of the young people don't even have to leave their homes. They are trading there. And we can even see the inflows have really grown to about $5 billion the last time I checked. What about that? What is the space there because of this borderlessness and the fact that we have very high-speed internet and people now have gadgets? I mean, they have access to external markets just from with the confines of their bedrooms.
Spox, we have a big opportunity as a country to lead that space, particularly on the digital space. One, we have an advantage. We are a very educated economy. People in Kenya, Kenyans are really educated, and then we are really tech savvy in ourselves. So when you compare us to other African nations, we actually top of the class. So we already have an advantage from the human resource perspective that we have, and we could then use that to actually be the trailblazer for the region in terms of digital services. But when you look at on hindsight, it actually tells us how trade is evolving. And so we also have to start seeing how we appreciate that evolution that is coming with it, and ask ourselves these barriers that we are creating physically, and we are moving into that digital space where all that will be gone. How are we going to interact and be able to actually push the agenda to the next level?
So in the next 12 to 24 months, what are we looking at? Are there major events that are coming? For example, I'm aware there's a tripartite meeting that my office and your office are working together. What are we expecting? We know about the France-Africa Summit. Give us a rundown of what we expect in terms of big meetings or opportunities for trade and investment.
So we have as you rightfully said, the Africa, it's now called Africa Forward Summit. It was Africa French Summit that is happening for the first time here. And we want to make sure the Bombas International Convention Center hosts it. We have the tripartite summit that we are also looking at it happening in the month of May. we have all this, given that His Excellency is now the chair of COMESA, so we have all these COMESA events that are happening, and the president being the steer of COMESA, that will be coming towards sometime mid next year. We also have the African Union meeting and the AFCFTA meetings that are coming, I think, sometime in February here. Our president is also the chair of the subcommittee of the AFCFTA implementation framework for African Union. Mm-hmm. So there are all these strategic initiatives that are happening both internationally and locally that are actually getting us into that space of being identified as the country to be in terms of trade, both domestically and even internationally, from both trade in goods and service perspective.
Makofi. Now, we are now turning our attention to you, the audience, and I can see you are ready to ask your questions. And so who is leading this? Is it Rehab? Please, so that then we can now go straight into the questions that we are going to have. Yes. So the first question.
Oh, hello, everyone. It's Winston Roche.
Please tell us your name, where you come from, and straight your question. What question do you have?
My name is Winston Roche. I'm coming from Homa Bay County, back in Ushago. And my question for today is, with the Startup Act promised more friendly regulatory environment, what specific concrete steps has the ministry taken to ease the licensing and certification processes for the young entrepreneurs in the digital space?
Yeah, I think we'll take all the 5 questions together before we answer all of them because of time. So the question you asked me is about the issue, the licensing, and how easy they are to be for the young people, right?
Yeah.
Makofi kwa yetu. Thank you very much. The next question. Quickly, please, because of time. Yes.
Good evening, Madam PS. Thank you very much for the insightful session. My question would be on the state agencies. Are there any registered state agencies that you work with where we can actually access information on internal and external trade?
Okay, so external and internal trade. Makofi hapo. Good. Let's have the third question from this other end. Yes.
Good evening. My name is Anita from the University of Nairobi.
Mm-hmm.
And my
Wewe ni Gen Z kabisa.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And my question is, how
are you studying at the University of Nairobi?
Architecture.
Oh, wow. Amazing. Uh-huh.
My question is, how is the ministry measuring the success of digital trade initiatives for the youth? So is it by tracking the number of or the quality, or is it the sustainability? How exactly is this being done?
So measurability of the digital markets and all of that. Makofi hapo kwa Anita. Unajua kuna ile wimbo nasema Anita wangu. Haya, then next question, yes. Over to you, Mr. Sa. Tell us your name and where you come from and the question.
Hello, Madam PS. My name is Momo Musyoki from the University of Nairobi.
Okay, University of Nairobi mmevambia hapa leo kabisa. Wonderful.
I study electrical engineering. I'm in my final year. My question for you is, recently the Kenya Pipeline Company had its first and only fully electronic initial public offering at the NSC in conjunction with the CMA. How will this trend follow for the subsequent initial public offerings for the companies that follow?
Makofi kabisa hapo. Unasikia engineer anauliza mambo ya NSC na initial IPO, initial public offer, which of course we need to raise money for what? For what is the money being raised for? Yeah? What is it being raised for? For infrastructural development, the National Infrastructure Fund. Mnafaa kujua hii maneno bwana. There are two funds that have been established, the National Infrastructure Fund and also the Sovereign Wealth Fund, that are very critical. Yes, final question. Any other question? Yes, over to you. Yes.
Good evening, PS Regina. We have a number of questions directed to you by.
No, maybe before we come to that, we can quickly let's allow her to answer that before we go to the social media. Yes, over, please.
Well, thank you very much. I actually didn't know we were going to have a session where I'm going to be asked questions, but I'll try and answer what I can. In terms of licensing for the startups, we do understand there have been multiplicity of licenses. And so we are actually moving towards a harmonized way so that we move away from duplication and you're able to get your license as fast as possible to allow you engage in your business. Incidences as early as yesterday, His Excellency was even asking for waivers for young people who want to go into business so that at the start of they don't have to go through that hurdle, then later on they can actually pay up whatever needs to be paid up just to get them to get off from the ground. On the state agencies that you can work with to get information on external and internal trade. First, my State Department is one area where you can get a lot of information on external and internal trade. But in addition, I have all these agencies that are under me in terms of parastatals. We have the Kenya Promotion and Branding Agency. We have the Kenya Trade Remedies Agency. We have the Commodity Exchange platform that we also have the warehouse receipts. In industry, we have the agencies that fall under industry that can also help you get information on what is needed for trade. This is more to do with the manufacturing. So we have the Kipi, the Kirdis, the leather, parastatal, and then we also have those that can also help you in terms of investment promotion, where we have the EPZs, the special economic zones. We have the Ken Invest, which we are now rebranding to call Invest Kenya. So under the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investments, we have 3 state departments, one for industry, one for investment promotion, and then my State Department for Trade. But all those agencies can actually give you all the information that you need on external and internal trade. And we work very closely with all these international agencies, the WTO, the UNCTAD, so they are, and the ITC. These are international institutions that can also collaborate with us and can help you get the information that you need. In terms of success of digital trade, we are basically looking at aspects of, in terms of, if you're looking at the key performance indicators, we are looking at sustainability, we're looking at consistency, we are looking at efficiency, and we're also looking at how quick in terms of evolution that innovation is, so that it actually speaks to a solution-oriented kind of innovation. So, and this is where I really applaud the young people. I have worked with a few in my State Department, and anytime they come in for their internship and they see something, they are more solution-oriented. So they'll come and say, "I've seen your social media platform, it's really not good, but I have a solution for you." And they are more towards solution oriented, and this really excites me.
Kabisa hapo. Kwa hivyo majenzi muko na mnasaidia sana mkiingia kwa hizi ofisi za serikali ama namna gani?
Yes, they do. Actually, they organized in my State Department, they organized an art exhibition for me where we opened the spaces through art. We opened our offices, and including my office, so the public could come in and appreciate art. And The message was, we want to make people understand that this is a public office, it is their office and they can access it. And that was something so innovative and nice that really excited my State Department. It came again from the young people who had come in to support my State Department. I must confess, I didn't get your question, the one on the KPL, KPC. Is it okay for you
Can
to
clarify?
just-
Yes. Yeah, we can clarify further.
I'm that slow
You have the mic
student.
just behind you. Yes. Go ahead. Stand up and you can articulate again. And also remind us your name, electrical engineer.
My name is Momo Musyoki from the University of Nairobi. Recently, the Kenya Pipeline Company had its first IPO, which is a landmark for Kenya because it was the first fully electric one. Now, my question is, will that trend follow for the subsequent IPOs for parastatals or the private companies? And how can the public get more resources about that?
So I want to mention here that the government has also realized that there are some entities that are really not well run if they're fully public, and so they are opening up to the markets for people to come in and be able to purchase, so that we are able to get resources that we need for purposes of improving our infrastructure. So that whatever happened with KPC is one of those examples of what government is doing in terms of really trying to create that fund that can allow us to be able to manage our resources, our infrastructure growth and development from our own borrowing and own domestic mechanisms. We have just realized that that dependence on international funding is not really sustainable, and it can at one time or the other just go under. So we really have to secure ourselves by making sure that we have resources that we can access. And these are some of the mechanisms that His Excellency is really pushing for, to ensure that even the funding that we have for our infrastructure development is sustainable and is accessible.
Makofi kabisa. I think now we can do our socials. We hear what we have. And over to you, Madam Rehab. Tupigie Rehab makofi. Hi, you have about a minute or two to do so before we come back to the PS for final responses.
Good evening, PS Regina. My name is Rehab Adhiambo. I'm a journalist at the Office of the Government Spokesman. We have a number of questions directed to you from our online viewers. They're both in Swahili and English. The first question anauliza, katibu, nifanye nini endapo nitakumbana na ushindani usio wa haki katika biashara? Ni Ishmael Hamed kutoka Isili BBS Mall kwenye mtandao wetu wa X. The second question, Madam PS, who handles international trade negotiations? Ni Wendy Anyango, fishmonger from Kisumu County, asking from platform Facebook. Swali la tatu, je, nitawezaje kupata taarifa za masoko ya nje kwa bidhaa zangu? Ni Mwangi wa Ihenya kutoka Kiambu County. Mwangi is a pig farmer from platform X. Swali la nne, how does the department help protect local producers? Ni Demu wa Duvet kutoka Eldoret from TikTok. Swali la mwisho.
Huyo ni Demu wa Duvet, mademu wa Duvet wanauza kabisa. Swali la mwisho.
Swali la mwisho, how does the department support avocado and other exports? What is the role of Kenya Chamber of Commerce and Industry? Ni Nuru Wanjiru kutoka Murang'a County from Facebook. Asante.
Makofi kabisa hapo. So PS, you have about 3 to 4 minutes actually 3 minutes to respond to the questions before we take our final call.
Spokes, I must apologize that you know where I come from. Israel is not really part of us, so you might just help to to tell me what I was being asked in the language I know the best, if you don't mind. But I'll try and answer the ones that I got very quickly. The first one of asking who is in charge of international trade negotiations. I'm actually the chief negotiator for all trade negotiations. So if somebody needs to know what happens in that space, but of course I don't work alone. I have a team of negotiators. As government, we do the whole of government approach. So when we do negotiations, we encompass the key sectors that are at stake in that negotiation, and we bring them to the table, including even the private sector and civil society. Where can you get information on trade matters? As I said, we have an agency, the Kenya Promotion and Branding Agency, that does all the work around export promotion and branding. We also have our own research directorate and the departments of external trade within us that can give you all the information that you need. And our website is vibrant. It's very active. It's very updated. So whatever you need, you can get from there as fast as possible. And thanks to the young people who really came in and revamped my website. How do we protect local producers? We have a mechanism of actually supporting local producers so that they can access the international market from a regional perspective. But we also, because we are we subscribe to the regional integration protocols that allow for free movement of goods and services, we also make sure that we don't protect to an extent that we now start creating a barrier when it comes to trade. So those are some of the things that we do in terms of ensuring that we give you the enabling environment and that allows you to trade both internally and externally. In terms of supporting avocado, we are ensuring that in our trade negotiations, we advocate for avocado among other products, and then we support those farmers by ensuring that they understand the issue of standards, as I talked earlier, that are required for those markets, as well as ensuring that they grow the right quality that is required. Commerce and Industry Chamber. This is a chamber that brings together all the players in the trade ecosystem, particularly the private sector players, to allow them a space for dialogue, for understanding, for information sharing, and be able also to know what is happening in the trade space, both internally and externally.
Makofi kabisa. So, yes, in less than 30 seconds, maybe you can give us your closing, remarks. What do you think about the future of trade, as we come to the final, stages of this show?
Yeah, just as I started off, I just want to conclude here by saying that trade is key, and it is actually a very important aspect of economic growth. We are really living in very extraordinary times. We are seeing the whole arrangement around the World Trade Organization and multilateralism being under threat, and we are seeing our big brothers going to a different mechanism of trading. So as a country, we also have to start thinking around how do we diversify trade, how do we make our products more competitive, and also how do we get trade within the African continent to grow so that there's more of intra-Africa trade that gives us more returns. So ensuring that our infrastructure is right, our ports are functioning right, our systems at the borders are seamless, and our governance in the trade space is just one that allows trade to happen seamlessly without anybody feeling disadvantaged in any way.
Makofi. Yes. Uje usimame hapa.
Still stand with the mic.
Yes, with your mic. Nataka uangalie ile kamera pale. Tuseme Sema na Spox, Bonga na Gava. Twende hivyo. Sema na Spox, Bonga na Gava. Tena Sema na Spox, Bonga na Gava. Alafu tunamaliza kusema mimi ni Mkenya mzalendo. Je, wewe? Mimi ni Mkenya mzalendo daima. Twende. Mimi ni Mkenya mzalendo. Je, wewe? Mimi ni Mkenya mzalendo daima. Until next time when we'll have another show. Keep it up here. Na hii ni show ya Sema na Sports. Sema na Sports. Makofi hapo kabisa.
Okay, ladies, let's be upstanding.